Well, welcome to my channel Mispronounced Adventures. My name's Alex and welcome to my 4x4 MAN TGE adventure campervan build. And this episode we're dealing with the roof, which is why I'm back in Ian's workshop at Vanward, because it's UK winter and it's raining all the time and doing roofs in the rain is not fun. And we're fitting the main fan for the van. And it's not a MaxxFan, it's a Nomadic Air Plus. Now in the Ford Transit, I've had the MaxxFan for the last 5 years and it has given me no issues. I've not had issues with the voltage, which is known for when you use it with lithium batteries. I've also not had it rattling with the wind, which I know is a big problem for some people. But I've also bought the Nomadic Ark skylight for the pod, and I've had the Nomadic Ark windows fitted as well, and I've been really happy with them. And since I've seen quite a few people using the Nomadic Air Plus as an alternative to the MaxxFan, I thought I'll give it a go. So this is what I bought. I haven't got this for free from Nomadic Ark, but I bought this and I bought their black edition with the smoke, so the semi-clear lid. But let's get it unboxed and have a look at what the unit looks like. I think later on I'll see if I can do some comparisons between the specs on the MaxxFan and the new one, and we'll go from there. So one of the main reasons people seem to be liking it, it's got a brushless motor, as the MaxxFan is known for wearing out its brush fans. I've gone for the smoke, and I've also gone for the 355mm by 355mm version, not the 400 or the 40cm version. Manual. So the unit itself, it is a pretty similar configuration to what you get with the MaxxFan. It can be used in the rain, used when you're driving, up and down. Now, one of the things which I think is really interesting about this is the price. I paid £252, including shipping for this, when I think the MaxxFan retails for around 300 to 350. And whilst it comes with a bunch of the similar features, and apparently some upgrades, it also comes with something the MaxxFan doesn't, which is built-in LEDs, and a cover as well. It's about £100 less, and you don't have to buy an extra blind or LED lights for it. What else have we got in here? Packing peanuts and a bunch of hardware, the remote wall cover, light covers, yeah. Fixing wise, pretty similar to the MaxxFan. Holes throughout the bezel. One of the things I want to check is if these mounting holes are in the same place as the traditional MaxxFan, because you could potentially do a straight swap from the MaxxFan's roof mount with this unit, if that was it. If they haven't made it the same size, I think they've missed out on an opportunity there. We've got the controls, which they don't press. I actually think it's a touch screen opposed to standard controls. And, you know, quite happy with that blind. And, well, we'll get it on. Let's show you where it's going on the van. So I want it to go up here, and now 35cm works quite well from this bar, but I do have to take out part of this bar, which is not the end of the world. Quite a few people take the bars out. Even though I'm doing that, I am then going to reinforce this whole side of this bar with another piece of bolted and bonded on, and then probably the same with another widthway bit joining those two together for the framework. It's really the only other place I have left to mount it. Right, next goal. I want to mount this as far forward as possible. So temporarily put this in its right spot and figure out the maximum cut line versus the maximum of the unit. Don't know where a measuring tape is, I need to go find one. So about 55mm from the front edge to the front of the unit. And from the roof to there, front edge, about 8cm. So that's at full height. That is a lot. It is about, I think it's about 18cm versus the MaxxFan in its full height, which is about 28. So it's only really risen about 10cm. Now, there are plenty of videos out there on YouTube about how to fit fans to vehicles, and they'll do a way better job than I do. And I did it last time. But this time round, I have access to an Ian, and I'm going to use him. And Ian likes a high-tech approach, and at the time of this video, he's got a new 3D scanner, and he has a large CNC machine. So we are going to map the roof of the van using the 3D scanner, because the area I want my fan has a lot of castellations and lumps, and we're going to make a bespoke adapter for the fan so it fits perfectly. And for Ian, I'm a good guinea pig because it allows him to figure out the workflow between 3D scanning, 3D design, and getting it cut on the CNC machine. And while this next section might look like it took a short time, it actually took a bit of hours because a lot of experimenting on how to get the 3D scan data to be a usable mesh. Ian eventually figured it out, and it was time to get cutting on the CNC machine. Material wise, from the adapter, it's getting cut out of a sheet of HDPE or high density polyethylene. And the overall process was pretty quick. 2 passes, 1 big rough cut before a tool swap, before its final pass to give it a nice smooth finish. Nice.
Let's go see if it fits.
Definitely. Let's go see if it fits.
Wrong way.
What happened last time?
Don't open the door. Sure? Are you going to look there? Probably, yeah, good. That's quite good, that is.
That's very good. Absolute perfect fit. Now, time to actually get on to the cutting of the hole on the top of my van. The reason Ian is using a sawzall and not a jigsaw here is just because I've already got the roof rack on the van and it was blocking access for the jigsaw. Next was pre-drilling the holes in the adapter to fit the mounting plate. I don't think I could be more impressed with just how accurate the adapter plate from the 3D scan was to line up with all the awkward castellations when it was cut. Always remember, any job you're doing on a van where you're cutting with a sawzall, grinder or jigsaw, you're going to create little bits of swarf. Make sure it's all cleaned off afterwards, otherwise it will rust, stick to your roof and damage your paintwork. Once again, opposed to doing it by hand, Ian has an electric caulking gun which gives a really consistent bead. With the mount and the adapter all fixed and screwed in, time to actually get the fan on. This is where we should, if you tilt it in the other, are we going to have to loosen the bar to get it on? No, it's solidly done. I was a bit worried it wasn't going to fit, and then we realised because the fan's in the up position, we couldn't squeeze it in past the roof rack, so we just had to lower the fan into the down position first. Oh, the cables are all out on my side. There we go.
The question is, which screws are they?
There's some shorter ones.
Okay.
There you go. And look at the clearance. It's like we measured it.
Did we?
Fan screwed and mounted in. I'll sort the rest at a later date because Ian needs to go home. Now there's something I wanted to have a look at before we get started on the inside of the unit. So it's about a week later and I want to take this off. Now, not because I don't like it, the opposite. I want to test something. So when we were fitting this in Ian's workshop at Vanward, both of us thought the bolt holes, the screw holes for mounting the unit on its plate on top of the van looked remarkably similar to the spacing of the MaxxFan. And now that I'm back, my Transit is just over there, and that has a MaxxFan on it. So I'm going to take this off to see if we can actually just do, or if you could actually just do a direct swap, because I think this unit could be so much more popular if people could not have to fit the framing, if they've already got a MaxxFan, or take their MaxxFan directly out and swap this directly in. So I've already undone the screws from one side, I'm just going to undo them from this side as well. Take the unit out and have a look. All right, that's all the bolts, all the stainless steel screws are removed. There we go. Right, one hole in my roof. Now let's go with the Transit and see if we can get the MaxxFan off. Right, we'll take this down. Right, now we can get this bolt undone. Right, that is my MaxxFan loosened. Let's see if it comes out. Right, I think the wires are a bit short, so I need to go fix that internally one second. Right, cables are cut internally, so it should just come out now. I say should. Maybe the handle I've got to loosen. Right, now let's try for the next time. There we go, MaxxFan out. Does an Air Plus fit? Well, there you are. Yep, fits in the MaxxFan holes as well. So you can just swap your MaxxFan directly for a Nomadic Ark. And an example of it from the inside, looks like it's going to work. If you wanted to do a direct swap, no problem. I guess one final bit is the MaxxFan usually sits recessed, whilst this sits proud. So you might have to modify your interior a little bit just to fit the new front on it. But yeah, looks like good. I haven't screwed it in. I have not got time. I've got other things to do at the minute, but the screw holes all line up. I mean, you can see light through there. But yeah, it looks like if you wanted to do the Nomadic Ark Air Plus and you've already got a MaxxFan, you can do a direct swap. So the Air Plus actually in use and in its up position is significantly more low profile than the MaxxFan, which means you could actually consider mounting solar panels above it without adding too much extra height for your vehicle. In my case, it's actually lower than the top of my roof pod. Right, we are 6 months later and I didn't have any footage of putting this on because I was too busy getting prepared for Arctic Season Round 5, which was a great success. And this has been running all of the Arctic season and the rest of the year pretty much since. Now, putting on the bezel isn't too difficult. Screws to hold it in, and then just connecting up the 3 different wires, which you saw earlier in the video. And that's pretty much it. Feature-wise, you've got your blind, and then you've got the lights. Now, I haven't got the actual permanent light covers on just yet. Touching on the touchscreen, turns them on and off. And this was actually for the Arctic trip, the majority of the lighting I was using the entire time because I haven't got any of the other lighting installed in the van just yet. Control-wise, you've got your on and off, air in or air out, auto, faster and slower, and the light function. That's on the physical controller and the wall-mounted controller. Now I've got mine just permanently mounted here. It's not IR, it's a radio signal, so it doesn't need direct line of sight. You've got your standard on and off, also tells you the temperature. You're up and down, but you can also have the hood go up or down. What I find quite helpful is the ability to turn on and off the light. Now, something I would like to say took longer than I thought to figure out was how to turn these off. Was to figure out that these red lights actually turn off. I thought they stayed on the entire time until one day I noticed they had turned off. So I found that if you turn the light button on and off, you get those ones, but if you hold the light button, it will then turn off the red backlight on the unit itself, which for some people might find it quite annoying. I personally don't mind. I honestly do not know where I put the covers for that. Now then, I've had it in for 6 months. What do I think? Overall, I'm happy with the unit. However, my big annoyance is it is a real pain to clean the mesh. Because unlike the MaxxFan, the mesh is not removable for cleaning. You've got to take the whole thing apart, and it is a real faff to get everything lined up. But between the beginning of the video, 6 months ago, and now, they've actually released the Mark II edition of the Nomadic Air Plus, and that one comes with a removable mesh so it can be cleaned easily. And I think that they've also upgraded the LED so you can change and do some different settings on them as well. Now then, I never had any issues with my MaxxFan, didn't have any issues running it on lithium, and the voltage regulations on their old PCB, which I find to work with the new Nomadic Air Plus. And for those who are interested in why the brushless versus brush is important, quite a few people have the MaxxFans fail because you either wear out the commutator on the motor, or the brushes as they get worn produce dust, and that dust gets caught up in the motor bearings, which causes it to squeak and eventually the bearings to fail. Brushless, a bit different, you're not going to have that issue. Airflow wise versus a MaxxFan, now running them both for 100%, I haven't really noticed that much of a difference. They both have worked great. But what I do think is good is the price point of the Nomadic Ark versus the MaxxFan being significantly cheaper and coming with the built-in light and blind, which is quite an expensive additional accessory for the MaxxFan. It's a great value for money product. So I've got nothing to complain about it. I like it. It's survived one Arctic winter with me, and so far been fine in the summer for keeping the van a bit cooler. And if you're interested in one, consider checking out some of the information in the links below. And if you like this channel, consider checking out the Arctic season I mentioned, or the rest of the van build. Or maybe consider checking out some of the links for Holy, which is the energy drink replacement I've been drinking for the last year. Things like that help fund the channel and all the free content you guys get to watch. I'm a brand ambassador for Autoterm and Adventure Like Van Life UK, and I've got big discount codes for the Autoterm diesel heaters, like the air and hydronic heaters I use in this van. eBay, Amazon, and plenty more links in the description below. But really, I just want to make content for you guys to enjoy. So thank you much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.